video, and it's not your normal video, but it's a video nonetheless. Today, I'm gonna be going over the Season 2 Marvel Rivals patch notes, buffs, nerfs, and whatnot. I'm gonna go in order on the Marvel Rivals website. If I miss a character, that means they're not getting a buff or a nerf. Let's get into the video. So first we have Captain America. Steve will undergo some adjustments to his survivability, leading to a slight decrease in his overall resilience. Now, what that means is his base health is going from 675 to 650, which 25 health isn't awful. It makes a big difference though. And his shield, whenever he throws up his shield, it's going from 400 to 350. That's a big difference. That's going to be a game changer in some games. And that's it for Captain America. I feel like I don't really play Captain America that much, but I do know that his shield is awful to play against. But I feel like it's a solid balance between health and shield. Losing 25 in his base health and losing some shield time and whatnot to protect himself, because that's it's pretty rough to play against, especially as a healer when he's diving onto me. Next up, Doctor Strange. He will see a reduction in his offensive capabilities, limiting his battlefield control, decreasing his dagger's damage per projectile from 18 to 16. I'm not really sure how many daggers he shoots, but that's going to make a big difference. 2 in each, like per dagger, 2 difference, like a 16 instead of 18. Big difference right there already. And then reducing Maelstrom of Madness conversion ratio of dark magic to damage from 1.3 to 1.2. I'm not sure what that is, but it's a slight difference. It's not really, I don't think it'll make a big change in him as a character. It's just 0.1 damage less. I don't know. I guess to make it more of an even number in some cases. But that's it for Doctor Strange. Next is Bruce Banner, also the Hulk. He is getting boosted maneuverability, improved survivability upon entering combat. The movement speed, increased base movement speed from 600 to 650. I'm assuming that makes him faster. Obviously, he's pretty slow. But that extra 50 movement speed, I feel like will help a lot when it comes to using Hulk. Reducing cooldown time for indestructible guard from 12 seconds to 10 seconds. I'm not familiar with Hulk and his abilities, but I will look it up right now because I have it up right now. Indestructible guard. It's a little bubble. Going from 12 to 10 is a big difference in that, because it's 2 different seconds. 2 seconds difference from being able to bubble a teammate and not bubbling a teammate. 2 seconds can kill one person, or make another stay alive. Decreasing minimum charge time for Incredible Leap from 0.7 to 0.5. Now, I feel like that's also a pretty solid difference, because there's a delay with him and his Incredible Leap. But it is what it is. he'll be a little bit better to play as, especially with that movement speed. Next is Magneto. He will experience a slight decrease in the frequency of his ultimate ability. Now, if you don't know what his ability does, or what his ultimate does, let's look it up. It draws in all the like damage. It draws in all the damage. So like he can absorb the enemies like ult, like if you have like a Hawkeye or something and you shoot him, it'll gather up and it'll just suck it in. Pause. And that will be now 30. It went from 3100 to 3400. That's a big difference right there. It'll play a big role in how you play as Magneto. I think it's still going to be good, but his ultimate is pretty strong already. So having that little 300 energy cost is going to make a difference in some late games. And it'll make you choose whether or not to ult as Magneto or not in certain game situations. Next is Penny Parker. She is going to receive enhancements in her primary attack damage efficiency and a boost to her survivability and combat capabilities. I'm also not familiar with her, but let's find it. Let's see it. But yeah, Cyber Web Cluster, which is her main primary attack, now has a chance to crit, reduce movement speed penalty while firing Cyber Web Cluster from 40% to 20%. That's pretty good. Penny Parker's now playable, and you're able to move and shoot faster, I guess, And her base health is going from 650 to a whopping 750. That's a huge difference right there. Penny Parker will probably be used more. Expect her to be in some games. But yeah, she's not a tank that wants to play alone, Like you kind of need another DPS or a tank if you want Penny Parker to play. That's it. Then next is the Thing. He's gonna receive a slight reduction in his damage reduction effect. It's gonna go from 30% to 25%. I'm also not familiar with the Thing. I don't play as a tank. I play as Mantis, if y'all didn't know, which y'all didn't. But yeah, it's just a leap. It's a little guard that you do with your teammate. And it's gonna be 30 to 25 instead of, it'll. I don't know what it does, honestly, but I guess 25%. I don't think it's a big difference. The Thing is still gonna be really good. And that's it. There's not really much with the Thing. Next is Thor, our last Vanguard, our last tank, before we obviously get into the new character. Thor will receive an increase in survivability, which is really good because Thor is such a good character already. 525 to 600 health is the base health, obviously. An increased base movement speed from 600 to 650. That's also really great because he's now as fast as Hulk now, He's the same speed as Hulk, but he's getting a little bit faster. Thor's really good. I like Thor, um, and whatnot. He's pretty great. Um, but yeah, that's all I have about Thor. That's all the Vanguards we have right now. I'm gonna go over the new Vanguard at the end of the video, so make sure to wait for that reveal. Now on to our duelist, our damage per second characters. Some of them are. Our first is Black Widow. She is receiving optimizations to her shooting experience, adding a new effect where Black Widow can directly shoot after releasing the second kick of Edge Dancer and after using Electric Plasma Explosion, her ultimate ability. I'm assuming this means she can shoot twice after doing something, after doing one of her abilities. Um, Black Widow's pretty bad to play as. Um, you'd have to be really good at aiming and stuff, but she's really bad at the game. I think this, if you know how to use her abilities and then shoot directly after, you'll be fine, and it'll be a little bit better, a little bit easier to play as her. I think it's solid as for her as a character. There's not really much you can change about her to make her better because she's a sniping character, and there's not really much sniping to go on unless you change her damage dealt in a snipe, in like a little crit snipe, to being a one tap every time, because that'd be pretty cool. I feel like that's a good balance. Imagine you are Black Widow and then you're sniping someone, headshot them, they're dead, or crit them, I would say, and then they're dead immediately. You know, that'd be really cool having her, and then you have to worry about her. You know, I think that'll make it better for Black Widow mains. Um, that'd be rough to play against because next thing you know, you're dead immediately, and then you just cut to the kill cam and it's Black Widow sniping you. I mean, that's not that bad. Next is Hawkeye. They're improving his mobility while drawing his bow, enhancing his combat capabilities, and increasing the threat of his ultimate ability. So they're reducing the slow effect while charging the bow from 30% to 20%. So this means he's able to move a little bit faster when charging his bow, because he can get killed really easily while charging his bow and he moves super slow. If he's moving faster, obviously he'll die slower. He'll be able to get away while being able to charge his bow and shoot. They're increasing the both instances of damage for his hypersonic arrow from 50 to 55. I don't play Hawkeye, but I'm assuming that's pretty good. It's pretty solid. It's 5 damage increase. Pretty good. They're decreasing the energy cost for Hunter's Sight, his ultimate ability, from 3700 to 3100, and improving the bow draw speed increase from 1.35 times to 1.5. Hawkeye has gotten a lot better. He's a DPS character, and his ult is now costing 600 energy less. That's insane. I feel like I'm gonna see a little bit more Hawkeyes than I have already been seeing. Hawkeye's a pretty good character, I'm not gonna lie, but if you know how to aim and shoot with them and whatnot. But I feel like his ult is also pretty good. That's all I have to say about Hawkeye. Now it's Hela. She will receive a reduction in mobility while slightly enhancing her offensive power. Now she's already a demon on offensive side if you can hit your shots, but increasing the cooldown time for her getaway, I'm assuming. Her astral flock. I'm gonna look it up on here. Let's find out together. Yeah, her getaway ability is gonna be now 15 seconds instead of 20 or 12 seconds. So you will see her most likely be in the back lines most of the time. Especially with that three diff 3 whole seconds change in her escapability. She won't really be escaping as much and whatnot. Increasing the spell field damage of Piercing Knight from 30 to 35. Going back to her on this, what's it called? The Piercing Knight. I feel like that's gonna be good for her because it's like 5 daggers and you hit all of them. That's at least 150-ish damage, and that's a lot for some characters. And they're decreasing the cooldown time for Soul Drainer from 12 seconds to 10 seconds. That is pretty good because we will see a lot more of those. If you don't know what it is, Hela throws a sphere and it drags the enemies in that sphere closer to each other. So if for splash damage characters, it'll damage them more. And I believe Hela is a splash damage. I'm not 100% sure, but it's okay. But if like you have an Iron Man or a Human Torch, boom, you can get all of them in a little bubble, and boom, they're all there. Next is Human Torch. His attack feedback and survivability are being improved to enhance his impact across various combat scenarios. I feel like Human Torch is already annoying if you can position correctly. Let's see what they're doing with them. Reducing the attack interval for Fire Cluster from 0.6 seconds to 0.5. The launch timing of the primary attack projectile has been advanced. I feel like that 0.1 second difference is going to be a solid game changer for people that manually fire, which is, if you don't do that, you should probably manually fire. Unless your character is Scarlet Witch or Cloak and Dagger and your dagger, and you just have to hold it down and whatnot. But that's all you have to do for that. They're increasing the cooldown for Flaming Meteor from 12 seconds to 15 seconds, but adds a new effect. After releasing Flaming Meteor, immediately gain 75 bonus health, which will start to fall off 3 seconds later at a rate of 30 per second. Wow. That's a lot to read on that. That's a lot of changes on that. So what I'm getting from that is they're adding 3 seconds for the cooldown on one of his abilities, which is Flaming Meteor, which is his square. But it's giving him a 75 bonus health so he doesn't die immediately, which I feel like is great. It's the escapability factor for him because it's a little dive mechanic, but if he's able to get that extra bonus health, he won't die as like immediately, and it won't be a useless ability. But I'm glad that they're making it a cooldown, and they're also giving a bonus health so he can escape, which falls off 3 seconds later. But it's a good ability. I'm not gonna lie, it's a good buff. Human Torch, I expect to see him used a little bit more. Now Iron Man. That's Ben's, also known as Sauce's main, one of his mains. He's still learning the game. He is seeing improvements to his mid-range combat effectiveness. So slightly reducing Iron Man's hitbox size, because as Mantis personally, I hit shots on Iron Man and Human Torch like it's nobody's business, like I'm Phase Mantis, or like I'm in Phase. I feel like they don't have it saying, they don't say how small it's going to be, but they're reducing it slightly, which is, pretty great. For Iron Man at least. And a new feature. They gain 100 bonus health activating Armor Overdrive or Gamma Overdrive that will start to fall off 5 seconds later at a rate of 30 per second. So they're sticking with that 30 per second fall off rate. As I look at Iron Man, that Gamma Overdrive, which is his team up ability, or his Armor Overdrive, which is his main ability, Um, I feel like that's pretty good, pretty solid for him. I don't really see many people using mid-range combat, but I feel like they might do that a little bit more. Now that they have a little bonus health whenever they do use a mid-range combat thing. And yeah, that's it for Iron Man. Iron Fist. This one's annoying. I don't know. Iron Fist is annoying. He will receive an increase in his combat effectiveness against vanguards, a slight improvement movement to his mobility, and a slight reduction to his survivability when first entering the battlefield. That is going to be wild. They're reducing the bonus max health gained from Harmony Recovery from 150 to 100. That's solid. That's solid. But slow the fall off rate of that health from 25 per second to 15 per second. That's a whole 10 seconds off. That's not that bad. Lowering the fixed damage of Yatji Chung Kun from 10 to 9. That's not bad. That's not that big of a difference. I mean, it's 1 damage per whatever, but it's not that big of a difference. But they're increasing the percentage damage of the enemy's max health per strike from 1.7% to 2.1%. That's a big increase. I think Iron Fist is already broken, or he's already really good if you know how to use him and move around and whatnot. On console at least. Decreasing the cooldown for Kunlun Kick from 12 seconds to 10 seconds. That's not bad. I feel like Iron Fist needed that buff a little bit. I don't like him. He's not annoying to play against. The worst player to play against, or the worst character to play against, is Spider-Man. Because if you're good, he's good. But Iron Fist is kind of like that medium kind of character where you can hate him or you don't sometimes. But I feel like it's a good buff for Iron Fist. Mr. Fantastic time. They're enhancing the capabilities while making some balance adjustments to his ultimate energy charge rate, adding additional controllability and optimizing the release experience of his ultimate ability. That's a lot of things being changed. They're increasing his base health from 350 to 375. It's going to be great. Mr. Fantastic is already pretty good. They're boosting the damage of Stretch Punch to 60, or from 60 to 65, and from 75 to 80 while in the inflated state. His inflated state is already really good. You know, it's going to be, we're going to see a little bit more of Mr. Fantastic. Flexible elongation getting a new effect. Enemies within range now suffer a 35% slow effect. Reduce flexible elongation cooldown time from 10 seconds to 8 seconds. That's pretty good, That's pretty good. They're reducing the elasticity gained from elastic strength, his passive ability, from 30 to 20, while the elasticity provided by Stretch Punch is increased from 5 to 8. After entering the inflated state, the bonus health provided to self has been reduced from 450 to 400. So what I'm hearing is his bonus health is gonna go down a lot, or his health is gonna be easier to kill. He's gonna be easier to kill in that inflated state. But he's also getting a damage buff, so it's a win but a loss in some cases. You can look at it as a win for Mr. Fantastic. A new feature: when Mr. Fantastic uses Brainiac Bounce, his ultimate ability immediately gains bonus health equal to that gained when entering inflated state. Wow. Mr. Fantastic might be the best character in the game. I'm not sure. I don't think that's true. It could be true, but Mr. Fantastic is getting a massive buff in this update. I wonder how long it's going to last, because people might see him as broken, but we'll find out. That's it for Mr. Fantastic. We've got Moon Knight now. They're optimizing the blade projectile bounce feedback while improving maneuverability, ultimate ability, and survivability. They're increasing his crescent dart projectile speed from 120 meters per second to 150 meters per second. I believe that's what it is. That's pretty good. It's pretty good. Moonblade is getting a new effect. Gain 25 bonus health with each enemy hit, up to max of 100. 3 seconds after the bonus health stops increasing, it will start to fall off at a rate of 20 per second. It's a pretty good bonus health right there, but it's a max of 100, and you get it for at least 5 seconds, I guess, or 5 whatever fall off, I guess. I don't know. They're speeding up Moon Knight's hook pull startup time after the hit from 0.4 seconds to 0.15 seconds. That's a big difference. It's a big difference. It'll make Moon Knight even better, I would say, and whatnot. They're extending the duration of his ultimate ability from 3.5 seconds to 4.5 seconds, and increasing the number of talents generated during this period from 14 to 18. Additionally, the fall speed of the talents has been slightly enhanced. A new damage fall-off mechanic for the spell field has been added, beginning at 1.5 meters from the center and reaching a maximum reduction of 70% at 5 meters. I feel like that's a good buff, but a good balance to the buff. You know, they did great with that, because Moon Knight's ultimate ability has no damage fall off, as you just heard, and sometimes you die like when you're just on the outskirts of the ring, of the little circle. But adding 1 whole second to the ability is also going to be a big difference. I would expect to see Moon Knight using his ability a lot nowadays, or with this buff. Next is Scarlet Witch. They're reducing Wanda's survivability but increasing her threat levels against strategist and duelist while optimizing her ultimate ability release experience. They're removing chaos control percentage damage while increasing fixed damage from 60 to 80. That's not a bad increase, you know? Adding more damage. Increasing the Chthonian burst projectile damage from 35 to 40. and the spell field damage from 35 to 40 as well. It's a pretty good increase, not a massive increase. I feel like that's a good balance. Increasing the cooldown of Mystic Projection from 8 seconds to 10 seconds, and reducing phase state time from 2 seconds to 1.5 seconds. That's going to be a pretty big difference, pretty noticeable difference in the way Scarlet Witch is played, because she won't have enough time to really escape. I feel like it's a long time to escape already with Scarlet Witch because she's going to be unable to be hit for 2 seconds. Now it's 1.5, so it's not the worst thing in the world and whatnot, and that's that. They're reworking the slow effect of Reality Eraser to start at 1.5 seconds instead of starting immediately, with a linear increase to a 35% slow over 3.5 seconds. That's not. I mean, they're making it start at 1.5 instead of starting immediately, which is really good, which is pretty good. Gives us more time to get damage on her and kill her in time, if you're on the other team. Kind of a nerf for it, but it's a good balance to the nerf, obviously. They've been doing great so far with these balances on these nerfs and buffs and whatnot. They're counteracting a nerf with a buff and a buff with a nerf and whatnot, and it's really good. I love how they're doing all these updates and whatnot. Next is Star-Lord. They're reducing the damage output and the efficiency of his ultimate ability charge rate. They're reducing his blaster barrage damage, which I'm assuming, what is that? Let's find out. I don't know what the names of everything is called. His blaster barrage, which is where he goes absolutely crazy. They're doing 80 per second to 75 per second. It's a pretty big difference. They're introducing a new damage fall off mechanic starting at 4 meters and maxing out at 80% reduction at 8 meters. That's pretty big because Star-Lord's pretty rough to play against if they're good. That's it for Star-Lord. We've got Winter Soldier now. They're lowering Bucky's threat level against Vanguards and reducing the margin of error in his ultimate ability. They're increasing a cooldown time for his bionic hook from 8 seconds to 12 seconds. And they're reducing base damage from his ultimate ability from 100 to 80, but lowering the fueling threshold from 20% of maximum health to 15%. I feel like that's a solid nerf because Bucky is deemed the most broken character in the game. That's a good balance to his ult and whatnot. I like it. That's it. That's all they have for Bucky, or Winter Soldier. Next is Wolverine. They're tuning the acquisition rate and slightly lowering his control intensity over enemies. They're increasing rage gained from Savage Claw hits from 7 to 10, while rage gained from Berserk Claw Strike has been decreased from 7 to 5. Reduce rage gained from Feral Leap from 20 to 10, and from Vicious Rampage from 20 to 15. However, rage gained from taking damage has been increased from 3 to 5. I know that was a lot, especially for me, because I don't play Wolverine. I don't know what he does. I haven't really looked at him at all, so I have no idea what that means. But for you guys, it's just whatever y'all have. If y'all play Wolverine, y'all will probably know what I'm talking about. They're also reducing the time an enemy is knocked down after impact from Last Stand, his ultimate ability, from 1 second to 0.75 seconds. I think that's a solid, that's a nerf. So I don't know how y'all feel about that. I don't know how I feel about that because I don't play Wolverines that often. So I guess we're gonna move on. Next is the strategists, the healers of the group, and it's also um our last few characters. First is Adam Warlock. They're slightly reducing the frequency of Adam's abilities and adjusting the healing provided by his ultimate ability after reviving teammates. They're increasing the cooldown for Soul Bond from 30 seconds to 40 seconds. That's a huge difference. 10 seconds is massive. Soul Bond is pretty good. It's also kind of broken. So that would be huge for them to do, because Soul Bond usually happens a lot more often than you think. His ultimate ability, Karmic Revival, now restores 30% of a fallen ally's maximum health instead of a fixed 100 health. I think that's great because as soon as you respawn, you're kind of dead already. It's going to be rough to play against because next thing you know, you have a thing and 30% of his health is back, and it's pretty rough to be against, you know? That's it for Adam Warlock. I think Adam Warlock is a really good is a pretty good character. And that's it for Adam Warlock. Next is Cloak and Dagger, my sister's main. We're optimizing the logic of this dynamic duo's ultimate ability. After activating Eternal Bond, her ultimate ability, the duration of the first 3 healing zones will no longer be calculated separately. Instead, they will remain active until the duration of the final healing zone ends, at which point all will be removed together. I mean, I don't really play Cloak and Dagger. I don't know what any of this means. But I don't main her at all. I've never played her. I don't know what her ultimate ability does. But that was a lot. I'm assuming, based off of reading that, her first 3 healing zones, obviously, they're not they're calculated together now. And they're going to remain active until the duration of the final healing zone, at which point they will be removed together. That is going to be difficult to play against, but it's going to be good to play with. Yeah. Her ultimate ability just got a pretty good buff. That's it for her. Invisible Woman time. We'll be fine-tuning Susan's protective capabilities to create a more strategic gameplay experience. They're decreasing the shield value of Guardian Shield from 300 to 250. If you don't know what her shield ability or shield value from Guardian Shield, it's a little orb. You shield them and they heal from that orb. They're gonna decrease that from 350 to 250, which is gonna make sure that so it's not like a super heal, like not a full heal on some characters, like a full from 1 health to their max and whatnot, or from 1 to 300. Instead, it's going to be 1 to 250 and whatnot. That's it for Invisible Woman. Next is Loki. They're balancing the influence in matches, or to balance Loki's influences in matches, they're making a small adjustment to the frequency of one of his key abilities. They're increasing the regeneration domain. Increasing the regeneration domain cooldown from 25 seconds to 30 per second. Now, I don't play Loki. I'm going to look at what he does, or what that ability does, and what that means for y'all. Where is it? What is it? The regeneration domain. That is awful to play against. And I feel like it happens a lot. But it's a really crazy ability, and I feel like that's a good nerf to it, a good cooldown increase for Loki and whatnot, because that ability is really broken, or is really good, I would say, not broken. And that's it for Loki. Next is my main, and it's Mantis. To emphasize strategy over speed, we're modifying Mantis's health and buff mechanics. So the health is being reduced by 25 from 250 to from 275 to 250. I haven't really seen a difference in that in general. I don't feel like there would be a difference. There'll be a difference in the way I play, obviously, because they're reducing the health and I shouldn't really be on the front lines, but I feel like I'm alive a lot when I shouldn't be. And the effects of the healing flower and the allied inspiration can be stacked up to a maximum of 16 seconds. So, if you don't know Mantis, I know a lot about her because I'm main with her. The healing flower, it heals the person 50 health, and then it heals up, like, I don't know exactly how many times per second, but it increases per second for 8 seconds. And the allied inspiration is a damage boost, which is also, I think it's a 15% boost. Let's figure that out. Let's figure that out. We're in it right now. Duration is 8 seconds. It's a 12% damage boost, which is pretty good. Now it's able to be stacked. So we're not getting, or Mantis isn't getting an extra life orb. If she did, that would be absolutely broken. Because then I could stack up healing and then stack up my own damage boost and then damage boost someone else. That would be insane. I feel like, and also we get our life orbs from headshots as well, so that's really good. But being able to stack up our healing and our damage boost to 16 seconds instead of 8 seconds is really good. Because now if I have like a thing or like a tank and he's about to die, I can heal him twice, get 100 health on him, plus the 16 seconds of 20 seconds or 20 healing per second. That's really great for him, or for her, for Mantis and whatnot. Minus the I like the balance with the decreasing in the health. It's only 25, so I won't really see a big difference unless I'm like on the front line, or like if I'm pushing for some reason. But I won't really see a big difference in how the health matters, or in how the health will affect me. It'll affect a little bit, but I'll just have to make an adjustment on the fly. Next and last character we're going to go over in this patch notes, Rocket Raccoon. Rocket's healing abilities will see adjustments to enhance team survivability while balancing his mobility. They're decreasing the healing area of repair mode spheres from 70 health per second to 50 health per second, but adding a new effect of one-time healing of 55 health to allies hit. Projectile speed reduction increased from 4.5 meters per second to 7 meters per second. I'm also not familiar with Rocket Raccoon, so I'm just going to be reading off what is being said. And for y'all Rocket Raccoon mains, y'all would understand what I'm saying. But I don't, because I don't play with or against many Rocket Raccoons in my lifetime. They're extending the cooldown of Jetpack Dash from 6 seconds to 10 seconds, reducing dash. They're reducing dash distance from 10 meters to 8 meters. That, I feel like that's pretty good. No, that's bad. That's a nerf. That's a nerf in his Jetpack Dash and his dash distance. I don't play against him. I don't play with him. I don't really see a problem with him, but I feel like if you're really good, I mean, if you have Rocket Raccoon, you should probably be a second healer. They're reducing his ultimate ability damage boost from 40% to 25%. That's pretty good. His ultimate ability is pretty broken. But they're adding a new effect during the ability's duration. Linked allies will receive an additional 100 bonus health points per second, capped at 150. After breaking the link, this bonus starts to fall off after 1 second at a rate of 75 per second. Additionally, increase the energy cost from 3,700 to 4,000. That's a lot. So they're decreasing the damage boost that is given from the ultimate ability from 40 to 25%. That's a 15% decrease. And they're adding the duration of the bonus health, and they're making us receive 100 bonus health. And it's capped at 150, but I mean, if we get hit, it's just gonna go back up. And once the link is broken, the bonus health starts to fall off. It'll be gone by like 2 seconds. So you have 2 seconds with that extra 150 health, and whatnot. That's all I have for y'all today. Thank you guys for watching or listening to me talk about this and watching the pretty mediocre gameplay. But make sure to like and subscribe for more content. And see you guys in the next one. And bye bye.